Ladies and gentlemen, happy Spooktober. Welcome to the greatest college football gambling show on the internet. It is Will Compton. Joined with me as always, Taylor Lewan, Josh Pate. If you're wondering, what is Spooktober? Spooktober, the rules are simple. Number one, you refer to October as Spooktober. You watch a spook, a Halloween-themed show or a movie per day. And then every weekend, you embrace the spook by getting festive, going out to a pumpkin patch, going on a little hayride, going and picking up pumpkins. Whatever the case is, those are the rules of Spooktober. We are happy you're here. Let's talk about what's happened overall in the universe of the Locker Room with the Boys. These are the overall records. You see Taylor, you see Josh, you see Will. Taylor, the only guy with the winning season on the Locker Room right now, but also sneaking up on him. Josh Pate 2.0 with the bald head. He was 3-2 last week. We all won our dogs last week. So when we get to the underdog segment, make sure you tap in because all of our dogs won last weekend. Here are the games. Here's the slate that we are covering this weekend. Texas at Florida. We do have somebody, Josh Pate 1.0. He's an anti-Texas guy. We'll be talking about that game. Mississippi State goes to Texas A&M. Do we have a trap game for Texas A&M right now? Texas Tech at Houston. Miami at Florida State. The rivalry is here and is alive and well. And then Vandy at Alabama. Massive, dramatic revenge game for Alabama and the Crimson Tide going against Diego Pavia and the Vanderbilt Commodores. We're happy you're here. Dude, if you love the boys and you love ball, this is the show. Make sure you're subscribed. Leave comments throughout the episode. We are happy you're here. Let's have a day. Happy Spooktober. Welcome to the Locker Room. The Locker Room is presented by the #1 sportsbook in America, the FanDuel Sportsbook. Before we get into things, we just want to remind you guys that gambling is for entertainment and FanDuel always has your back with tons of responsible gaming tools to make sure your play stays fun and stress-free. Check out FanDuel.com/RG or the responsible gaming section in the app to learn more about staying in control of your game.
We just want to make sure you guys remember this simple equation. College football Saturdays plus Bussin With The Boys, profit boost tokens equal bigger wins.
Every week, FanDuel gives a 50% profit boost token on any college football game of your choice.
You don't believe me? Bussin With The Boys, 50% profit boost token. Let me talk to you about this genius individual. Had a crystal ball. Maybe he does time travel a little bit. This person.
Time out. 15-leg parlay.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't have to burn your time out. You can just ask.
I'm looking at it. Last week we had a monster one. We got another 84,700 odds one.
Oh, okay, you want to
I need in on these.
Okay, yeah. This is unbelievable. $10, 15-leg parlay plus 84,761. 14 money line picks. No, he's not really going to read it, is he? Yes, he is. Alabama over Georgia. Ole Miss over LSU. Southern Miss over Jacksonville State. Washington State over Colorado State. Louisiana over Marshall, South Carolina over Kentucky, sorry JP, Texas A&M over Auburn, Ohio State over Washington, Iowa State over Arizona, Tennessee over Mississippi State, Indiana over Iowa, Boise State over App State, Stanford over San Jose State, Kennesaw State over Middle Tennessee. Then there was one spread pick, and I'm sure this individual was shitting their pants. It was Oregon to cover against Penn State.
I got nervous reading it. I already know how it turns out.
Right.
I just saw the game go to overtime again.
So every week I go on FanDuel and I just put together essentially a 15-leg parlay like this. Hopefully with similar odds.
The retirement special.
And it's usually Old Yeller
Financial freedom.
by the first leg.
Yeah.
And then the rest of them hit. And I'm just like, man, if that one, that keeps coming back.
You want to be in spot. You want to be in a spot to where that last leg is. You got Oregon, Penn State, and you are shitting yourself. Like, do I cash out?
Do I cash out?
Do I ride? I mean, $10 to win almost $8,500.
It's unbelievable. We had ourselves a little situation this
Would've been
weekend.
perfect.
Which I'll get to. Make sure you head to FanDuel.com/Bussin. Download the app, grab your Bussin With The Boys profit boost token, and make those even sweeter. If you're wondering, by the way, where's my card at? Hey, Bussin With The Boys, Bussin With The Boys, we put out a parlay every single week. 7,000 people on our college football parlay rode with us this past weekend. That's over $300,000 of potential winnings. And that parlay hit. Let's give a round of applause. Love you, FanDuel.
Thank you, FanDuel.
Thank you, FanDuel. 300,000. That we basically made the economy better.
Yeah.
We helped the economy.
People got to get on the site. They got to find the little Bussin With The Boys parlay from the locker room that we put together, and they got to hit it. along with the little Josh Pate tab.
The little Josh Pate.
The little Josh Pate.
Do not click the big one.
Don't click
That's not the one you want.
No.
You want the little
You
one.
want to hit the NCAAF at the top. You want to see that little line in that like top middle area. You want to slide it over. Slide over until you see Josh Pate. You hit Josh Pate, and that's where the money's made right there.
Choo choo.
That's the Ramen Noodle Express.
That's it.
When we're on the idea of multiple leg parlays, we had a 10-leg parlay that you cooked up Saturday.
Yes.
And we streamed Penn State versus Oregon.
Hey,
we're obviously rooting every single leg hit.
One leg left.
Every leg hit. The last
You're telling
leg.
me you went 9 and 10.
9 and 10.
Yes.
And it was all, not the first one died, all alive to the last one. It was Georgia to beat Alabama. And we sat there, what was it, the third quarter of that game?
Yeah.
And Will's sitting back. He had a little SIL1 situation going on with his back, so he's moving around trying to keep active. I'm sitting there, I'm looking back at him like, this is your parlay. I'm going to follow whatever he does. If he cashes out, I'll cash out as well. If not, I'll ride it out with the boy. I look back over my shoulder and he just goes, we're going.
We're going.
And we died.
Kind of have to at that. And
It was dead.
Real Thelma and Louise stuff there, though.
And Garrett is over there screaming at the TV. And I'm thinking to myself, I love the fact that my friend is happy. But my wallet would be a whole lot happier if my friend was really sad at the end of this.
Yeah. Because you even had a decent cash out when they were down 7 in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
And there's about they still had the 2 minute timeout.
They're down 3.
They were down 3 points.
3-point game.
Okay, yeah. So that was probably smart because I'm sitting there, I'm like, man, the way this game is going, I don't see Georgia scoring.
Drop touchdown.
Yeah.
That was it. That was take the lead. But see, Bama still scored a touchdown on their drive. Mm-hmm. Georgia drops the TD, doesn't score. That would have been 28-24. They take the lead for, I think, the first time in the game. In the fourth quarter, total game changer. They drop it. And at that point, all you needed to have happen was a team that has not lost at home since pre-COVID to win.
Yeah.
That's a tough time.
But again, the cash out in the fourth quarter was like Georgia had to punt. They punt it. Bama's got the ball, and it's like, all right, they might have just a little bit of time left with no timeouts if they stop Bama here. So I'm thinking, I couldn't believe that they were giving me the cash out. I should have probably took it. Looking back on it, hindsight's 20/20 always. But look, Bama won, and we have a great game now with Vandy going out to.
Got a great game.
Going
Georgia wins that game. It's like, is that exciting anymore?
Yeah.
Is it that exciting?
Josh, there was a conversation earlier this week that came up that would love your expertise. My man Taylor proposed, felt like he had.
I knew this was coming.
There was a debate. He's like, hey, he's talking about Nebraska. Like, let's say, what was it? If Nebraska wins out and goes 11-1, but Penn State, now that they lost to Oregon, say Penn State loses to Ohio State and they lose another game. USC lost to Illinois. So what if USC is just not very good, just based purely on strength of schedule? It waters all the way down to its lowest level. Nebraska wins out, goes 11-1. No, they don't go to the Big Ten championship because Oregon and Ohio State are undefeated. They're playing in the Big Ten championship. So Nebraska would be sitting at 11-1. Not playing in the championship game. In his mind, they wouldn't get in the college football playoff.
I said there's a conversation.
He says there's an actual argument that Nebraska could potentially not be in the college football playoff.
Now, do you want, so that's how the conversation started. Do you want to know how it ended, or do you want to give your opinion first on that?
Can I just end it?
Yeah, okay, go ahead.
So, go ahead. I want to know.
No, just end it, because that's ultimately what happened. Like, it ended.
There was a precedent set last year. Mm-hmm. Indiana did a version of this.
Yeah.
Indiana was clearly in the playoff, and they played a softer net schedule than what Nebraska will have played in this scenario. And then also, am I assuming it's Ohio State, Oregon, Big Ten title game? Am I assuming
well, you gotta, if Michigan wins out, if Michigan's 10-1 going into Ohio State, you have to assume Michigan beats Ohio State.
So there's an angle here. Okay, well, that's actually better for Nebraska because their head-to-head loss, their only one, is against now half of the Big Ten championship game participants. So your fortune actually works against your prediction because the better Michigan does, the better Nebraska's loss looks. So there's no world where they get left out at 11-1 either way. I want to state that very clearly.
Any team in the Power, any team in the Power 4 conference.
In the Power 2. Probably in the Power 4, definitely in the Power 2. But it doubly especially if Michigan makes the Big Ten title game and it was a close loss, at least on the scoreboard. It was a close loss. There was no way. There's no way to leaving them out.
This is also coming from a guy that went 2-3 last week.
How'd you do last week though?
It's not important what I did. You're
It
the
is not
professional. You're
important.
the
I
commissioner
asked
of
the
college
questions.
football.
I asked the questions.
The power's in the question.
This is how we ended up with James Franklin coaching Texas Tech, I think, at the end of last week's show, because you stuck to asking the questions. And then I think we triggered a Penn State loss, honestly.
I think we did. I think the conversation that took place at the end of last week's show was if James Franklin doesn't win this game and they're destined to always be 10-2, does James Franklin leave their job?
Yeah, and then clearly you got under Lanning's skin. Clearly you affected the outcome of the game.
I don't think Will did. Will was just a messenger. And you,
Right.
class,
Yeah,
you
it wasn't.
can't shoot the
I'm
messenger.
I'm
You
passing
burned
on
a
the
source.
information.
You burned a source.
Yeah.
For the betterment of Dan Lanning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's go Ducks.
Wow.
Let's go Ducks. Yeah. The Penn State James Franklin. It makes me laugh too because it's like, all right, are you saying there should be no patience with James Franklin?
No, I think the conversation is now going to be started.
Of James Franklin.
And I don't think it's like, maybe James Franklin knows he's hit his ceiling at Penn State as well. Maybe there's a place down south that he can maybe find better talent and get over that hump.
You talking about 30A? Are you talking about just straight retirement? Or are you talking about a program?
I'm talking about a program.
Oh, a program.
Program.
Thought you just
Head
meant
down
a
to
beach.
38.
Hit on 38, Nashville's beach.
Yeah.
Get down there. I'm just saying. I don't know.
How do we know Penn State won't just win out here? They are, I believe
They gotta
they're
play
still.
Nebraska.
They're still, yes, but if we're talking just about Penn State, they are still what? They're still up there in the odds with FanDuel to win the national
Fifth.
title.
Still fifth.
Yeah.
Wow. Still got to go to Ohio State.
Right. I'm not a James Franklin hater. I'm a big fan of James Franklin.
Yeah, you just asked the questions.
I'm just
Just
asking
asking
a
questions,
question.
yeah.
I'm just asking a question, and maybe a conversation has gotten started.
Hmm.
Maybe a conversation will start. Because you can't beat Oregon at home. Favored. How are you going to go to Columbus in a couple of weeks and win that?
And if you can't go to Columbus and win, you're just 10-2 again.
You're just 10-2
With your
again.
best team.
9-3.
Because Nebraska comes
Because
to town.
Nebraska comes to town as well.
If you're 2 losses already before you go to Ohio State, imagine that conversation.
You know who throws the ball more than anybody in college football? Nebraska. You know whose quarterback has the second highest completion percentage in college football?
Talk to them.
Nebraska.
Sucks for Michigan State.
You know
Sucks
who
for
had
Penn State too.
You know who had the greatest bye week practices that Coach Rule and Coach Holgerson have ever seen in their life? Nebraska.
That's
Bad
coming
week
off,
to be a
that's coming
Spartan.
off Baylor, Temple, Panthers, who have a top 10 pick
a
every
long
year.
track
They've seen a
record.
lot of bye weeks.
We've seen some
They've
bye
seen a
weeks.
lot of
some
bye weeks.
What would you
Bad
say
week to
has
be a
been the
Spartan.
second toughest bye week practice session of the Matt Rule tenure? Any stop. Like they had some tough weeks at Temple. They had some tough weeks at Baylor. What do you think comes closest, given that this past week, that was the toughest bye week? But what would be second?
With Coach Rule?
Yeah.
With what I know, I only know Coach Rule at Nebraska. I know the one where they got, what was it? Did we play Illinois on Friday night after we got curb stomped by Michigan?
I don't follow.
Was that
tightly.
a couple years ago, I believe?
After Michigan,
Or last year,
Nebraska
there was a
happened,
there was a
I walked
loss that happened. They talked about it was a bloodbath. How it was just they were in pads on Sunday, but it sounds like this one was a very physical. On Tuesday and Wednesday was a very physical week last week. It is hell when you lose going into a bye week. It just depends on what kind of mood the coaches is in.
And also, not to put salt in the wound, the way you lose too. You lost the toughness battle,
Right.
and so it's like, yeah, if you want to instill
Right.
toughness, we got to put the pads on.
Like the bye week we had when we got mollywopped by Ohio State my senior year was
Legendary.
Those practices were brutal.
yeah.
Talking take him to the ground, all of it, bro. And that is not a place you want to be in as a player.
My senior year, we didn't do very well, and during bowl practice was when hell broke loose. Luckily for me, I got a couple of rest days, but I
Yes.
had to watch hell unfold.
Some programs absolutely get after it during bowl season.
Yeah,
It's like an early spring. It's like another iteration of spring
right.
ball
You're
for
throwing
them.
a lot of new guys, see what they can do.
Yeah.
Think about next year, what's going to happen.
Yep.
So yeah, it can get bloody, especially in college football for sure. Before we get to our first game, I just want to congratulate you, man. Your hair's growing back fast.
Thank you.
A lot of people that are sitting here watching the show right now thought it's not coming back.
A lot of doubters and a lot of haters out
A
there.
lot of doubters and a lot of haters. Not here.
No. Frankly, there are some people here that thought it would be better not coming back. Like some people, I don't want to name names, some people thought you looked great as you were.
Yeah.
I do feel good with the way I look. So much so that it's like, maybe I do show up to my haircut appointment next week and like, hey, let's buzz it off again.
Yeah.
Especially we whoop Michigan State. I think it's here to stay.
You know,
You
at
guys
that
10-point
point,
favorites in that game? 11-point favorites?
It's like 10.5 or 11.5.
If
You can move the line to 16.5.
Okay, so if Nebraska loses, we
we won't.
Okay, this is a hypothetical. We're living in a fantasy world because I agree with you. You're not going to lose. Do you go to your haircut appointment on Tuesday next week still? Just waste $50?
I think if Nebraska loses, anybody who has me in their phone book should be calling me. Because this is scary hours. It is Spooktober.
It is Spooktober.
Where's Will?
I can't lose you the first week of Spooktober.
Yeah.
I can't have that.
You got to give it. If we lost to Michigan State, you probably give it 10 minutes on the timeline. And if you see nothing on there, that's where you got to start dialing.
Right. No, if I see that it's close in the fourth, I'll be driving to your house.
Yeah.
And I'll just tell you, listen, don't do anything drastic. Wait till November 1st. I need you for all of Spooktober. I need you for all of Spooktober. Form Energy delivers best-in-class taste with natural flavor and zero sugar. Form Energy has natural caffeine derived from green tea. Form Energy comes in a variety of flavors. We're talking Screaming Freedom. That's Rocket Pop inspired, Grape Smash, Blue Blitz, Orange Fury. Perfect for those who put in the work. Get up in the morning, have some fun, get a workout in, take a form, enjoy some ball. That's what life's all about. Form Energy, we do the work. Spooky season for Texas and Florida. Texas is at Florida.
Anti-Texas.
Anti-Texas.
Notably anti-Texas.
Notably anti-Texas.
Texas is favored, the team you hate the most, -6.5. Total points in that game is 41.5.
I want to just pull something out here.
Let's hear some paper poppers.
I got some.
Yeah.
You know what? Let me get the iPad.
Here's what I want to ask you guys.
Lift your iPad up and just put it down so it makes a noise.
Is there a massive gap between these teams? Point spread says yes. If you're nearly a touchdown favorite on someone else's field, that means there's a really big gap between you and them.
Right.
There's a big gap in the records. There's a big gap in the rankings. But I'm asking, is there a massive gap just in the quality of teams? You've watched both these teams play. So let's pretend DJ Lagway is not going to turn it over 5 times Saturday. Let's just assume
Against
straight
a
up
better
game.
defense than he played when he turned over 5 times.
True. Yeah, it's a tall, but bye week. They had tough practices.
You're saying Florida's defense is just as good as Texas's defense?
I'm saying close enough. I'm saying they can match.
I don't know, bro.
Okay,
hold on. I think that's the argument he's putting up right
yeah, that's not the argument.
Well, we're comparing teams right now.
We're comparing teams. He's saying, let's assume DJ Lagway is not going to throw 5 interceptions versus a better defense than the team he threw 5 interceptions against.
Okay.
Let's assume he's not even put in that position.
Okay.
All right, so my big beef in that LSU game was you've got Jaden Baugh running the ball at nearly 6 yards per clip, and they ran him 10 times against LSU. They ran him 12 times against Miami, but in the LSU game, LSU's not pulling away from you, and you've got your quarterback throwing picks left and right, literally left and right, all parts of the field. There was no part of the field left uninterceptable by DJ Lagway. Why would you not just run the ball anymore? So anyway, this is more a philosophical play. This is more like a theory-based play for me because I think about a team that's already lost 2 games. I think about a coach that's beyond on the hot seat. I think about a quarterback that has not had it throwing the ball. And I think about a running game that when given time or when given an opportunity has been operating pretty efficiently. I don't want to throw the ball against Texas. I don't feel like with this O-line and ground game, I should have to. So anyway, when you suck, you've got the least incentive in the world to keep doing what you've been doing. When you go into the bye week, I don't know what changes to expect. I just know they got to change stuff. Like no stone is left unturned in that building. My suspicion is what they will change is they'll try and compact the game by running the ball. And the one thing that you can question about Texas coming into this year is back-to-back years, they've had to replenish interior defensive line. Now, Ohio State didn't run it a ton against them, but Ohio State did good enough to win the game. I think taking Texas on the road, again, first road game since the trip to Columbus.
Right, PTSD.
Yes, we watched Arch Manning. We watched him struggle. I don't magically think he's a different player just because they come out of a bye week. I don't think Lagway is either. I just think they can mask his inefficiencies by using what should be the actual strength of the Florida offense anyway, and that's the ground game. That's part one. Part two is even doing that, you got a razor thin margin for error. But that's where I think home field matters. Like to me, there's not a massive gap. Both of these teams are in the 100s in third down offensive conversion. So there's just not a massive gap. I think if Florida had played Texas' schedule, they'd have the same record as Texas. But since they haven't and they've lost a couple more games, they're just like thinking that Texas, just go in there, make sure you don't get hurt, clean some things up, and then come to the Oklahoma game. I don't think that's the way it goes. So I'm going to roll the dice that some stuff changes for Florida and it reverts back to what it should have been anyway. And they get this inexplicable win. They beat Texas outright. And then everyone's asking, well, what now with Billy Napier? What do we do? Just like last year, it was a foregone conclusion he's going to get fired. But the thing about a guy is until you fire him, he gets to keep coaching. And his team didn't quit on him last year. And I don't think they're going to quit on him this year. So I am rolling the dice. The line's only 6.5. We saw multiple games last week with these weird 6.5 point spreads. FSU Virginia was one of them. And you say, how could it happen? USC Illinois was one of them. How could it happen? Well, they both happen. So it's not the craziest concept in the world to me. I'm going to take Florida to cover and win outright.
So you're on the show. So if you're saying Florida's going to win.
I'm going to say Florida's going to win.
That's going to reflect in your record next week.
Yes.
You might as well just take the points, right? For the show?
No, actually, I want Florida to win, but maybe I'll go Indiana, Illinois mode like you did. Maybe I'll take the dog to win outright, but the favorite to cover. It seems to work out around here. Perhaps we go that route. You want Spooktober? That's my Spooktober parlay.
By Will Compton.
I try and parlay that, and FanDuel just gave me a frowny face. It said log off.
Or you get the reminder you spent a little too much time.
Reality check?
Yeah, the reality check.
I mean, in the words of Will Compton, to stick on his phrases, like if the dog wins outright and then the favorite covers, like they're on to something.
They are.
They're up to something.
How do they know?
Yeah, how do they get it? I love everything you said. No one speaks about college football more poetically than you do. I think you look at both coaching staffs, you give the edge of Texas.
Yes.
Early in the year, Sarkisian is sitting there being like, you think Arch is hurt? Did he tell you that? He's having a big panic attack. Both, and then I start to look at Arch, and it's like, okay, he's hurt. We can assume he's hurt. They have a bye week. A lot of times that gets fixed. I wonder what DJ Lagway's up to. And I run across this like Florida Gators podcast that gets like 130 views. They're just all about the Gators. They don't talk about anything else. And apparently, DJ Lagway had a shoulder that he should have got surgery on this offseason, didn't get it, according to them. Also has like a soft tish or an ankle going on, which can be fixed in the bye week.
I think it's calf.
Calf, soft tish, something going on. I got to take the better defense. I got to take a team that has stacked more wins consistently, regardless if they're good teams or not. And they're going to go into a place where it's like, yeah, it'll be a hostile environment, but USF didn't have an issue with that at all.
Mm-hmm.
So I will be taking Texas to cover in this game.
Yeah, I'm going Texas. It's like when you bang your head against the wall and figure out, like, okay, you essentially hope this Florida team that we know to be shows up. Hope is not a strategy.
No.
DJ Lagway, is he all of a sudden going to be the DJ Lagway preseason JP or Josh Pate poll, one of the top quarterbacks in the country? I don't think it happens after, even though he's coming off of a bye week. Are they just going to run the football? They're still 107th in the country running the football against a very good Texas defense. This isn't a veteran group that's just a veteran group that's played together. This is a veteran group that was a top 5 defense in the country last year. Led the league in takeaways, top 5 in run, top 5 in total yards, top 5 in points. They're still top 5 in yards and top 5 in points this year. And they're savvy, bro. Like this is a defense that all it's going to take, and you talk about home field advantage, all it's going to take is for Texas to score first, or Texas to score, or the ball to not bounce the correct way one time for the stadium to be taken out of the game.
I agree with you.
This isn't like a Napier pressure situation. This is an entire organization. They haven't started 1-3 since 1986. Like everybody there is hopeful that Napier probably doesn't win this game so they can just do away with him because the fan base is so fed up. I mean, again, it's like not to bring Nebraska into every conversation, but a program that's lost over and over, and then the ball doesn't bounce their way one time. We got to witness it at Nebraska-Michigan a couple years ago after just a second series when Michigan scores first and then they get an interception. The game's just done. Like the crowd doesn't even count anymore.
The crowd doesn't care. Yeah.
And so if I'm just looking at this game, you also have to, it's like, do you believe that Arch, because again, this line could be what it is because you saw the Arch Manning game against Ohio State and you haven't really watched a whole lot of Texas football, myself included. I'm sitting here watching the recap games, and the way that it's like, do you think he's getting more accurate? Do you think he's getting more confident? Do you think the offense is finding a way to play more savvy, getting Wingo the ball in RPO situations and getting him the ball often and early in this game, which I think they need to do? They have a very good run game. I just think Texas has too much. I have no clue how Florida's going to win this game outside of a hope and a prayer that all of a sudden they find a run game overnight and be like, hey, DJ, you're not going to be the main show, which I don't think is going to happen. I think he is, and I think you put it on his shoulders, the same thing's going to happen. You're going to get the same outcome. So I like Texas here. I like Texas covering as a favorite. What is it, 6.5 on the road in Florida?
I'm going to keep saying this. All right, so the rushing statistic you gave is accurate. They're in the 100s in just rush yards per game.
Yeah.
I would look at that if it were 3.2 yards per carry, and I would be concerned that they just can't run the ball. They're in like the 5 to 6 yards per carry range. They just won't run the ball. They're so intent on force feeding DJ Lagway, at least they have been, that like my fundamental thinking is the shift will be, all right, we're done with that. And we're going to play the game in a phone booth. It's going to be the ugliest, most hideous game imaginable. That's the way they win it. You said they need a prayer. That's the prayer.
Yeah.
It's like a 13-9, 16-10 type game. The thing that scares me the most about Texas is the pass rush. And so that's the way I neutralize it to some extent. Now, Texas's edge rushers is also really good run D. So it's not like I'm going to run it straight at them because they're one-trick ponies. But
And even in twos, like say you go to a primary run game offense for Florida, you're still going up a defense that's only allowing a 22% conversion rate on third down, which is one of the best in the country. The Texas defense is for real. I know all the conversation around Arch Manning and everything else, but they returned 6 out of the 7 on the back end from last year. They were a top 5 defense last year. They're still doing the same thing this year.
see, to me, you got to have a strategy. The total's 40, 41, something like that in this game. You got to have a strategy where 20 is good enough to win. Your defense has got to know that going in. They've done that kind of stuff before this year already. You hate to put your guys in that position, but you got to have some kind of game plan here where 20 is good enough to win.
Yeah, agreed. Good luck to the Gators.
Someone's life is about to change.
Someone's life is about to change.
Because if, let's say, Florida does come out and say, all right, we're going to run the ball over and over again. Texas is going to assume that DJ Lagway is still going to be the guy, the prominent guy in the role, throwing the ball over the field. If you get a couple of series in that game and Florida's running the ball efficiently on you in the averages you're saying, Sark and those guys, they're good enough to make in-game adjustments before halftime and now take away the run and make DJ Lagway beat you with his arm, which he's proven he can't do right now.
See, I think their passing game has to be really unconventional. Like their pass yardage, there's probably very little underneath, probably very little intermediate. It is run the ball, run the ball, run the ball. We've been effective enough.
Safeties are down.
We a couple of them. He could have like 130 passing yards on 3 completions, something like that, at some point in that game. It's going to have to be a really, really unique, pull it off the shelf one time per year, unconventional type approach, because there's no standardized Florida way that they're beating Texas, because we've seen what the standardized Florida way this year brings.
And then if, let's say that happens, the whole world's going to be like, Florida, why haven't you been able to figure this out from the jump? Yeah. And then the next time they lose, they'll be like, oh, Napier, he can't figure it out.
Yeah, and then meanwhile, Texas, 2 losses going into Red River.
Which would suck.
Yeah.
Yeah. And no Mateer.
Maybe.
Allegedly.
We'll see.
Allegedly.
You
hearing anything about Mateer under the table?
I think their intent is to get him ready for that game. But I don't think even they know if he's going to be ready. Then again, when your surgeon is on message boards giving updates, which I thought was a HIPAA violation, but it's 2025.
Unless he signed something.
Where are we as a society? You know, it's whatever. It is Spooktober after all, so HIPAA violations, hippo, masculine version of HIPAA violation, out the window.
What's the next one?
Mississippi State at Texas A&M. Texas A&M is ranked 6th in the country. Texas A&M is favored by 14.5 points. Total points in that game is 55.5.
Man, to me, I think this is a get-back spot for A&M's offense. They perform very poorly. They've been performing poorly on third down, especially last week against Auburn. I look at Mississippi State. Like, to me, this is where, they went. Did they have a win last year in the SEC?
New year, though.
New year.
Knew them. They beat
and I think part of me is like, okay, this is the end of their year. Like, they had a good year. They got off, a 4-1 start. Now they're in SEC play. Now it's over. Because when you watch the Mississippi State-Tennessee game, it's like you got a muff punt. You get Tennessee gets a touchdown call back from an offensive PI call.
Tip ball for Tennessee.
Fake punt. Mississippi State pulled out a fake punt. Yeah, 2 tip balls that were interceptions. A 3rd and long that, every now and then you're gonna convert on a 3rd and long situation. But you just see how Mississippi State won. Hats off to them. They fought their ass off all this way. But going into A&M, this is this is a very good A&M football team. Their defense, that defensive line, is very good, and it's like. I don't know. The line is what, 14.5?
14.5.
And it's like, is this a trap game situation for A&M? You come off some big wins earlier in this first part of the year. You just ended with, you beat Auburn, a gritty win. You got some big games coming up after Mississippi State. Is this a spot to where they overlook Mississippi State and Mississippi State can still create some type of magic and energy? I personally think it's more of a get-back spot for that offense because that offense can move the ball. They just put themselves in some bad situations, miss some field goals. I like A&M at home in this game, but I truly would not be surprised if this is a trap game situation for Mississippi
I don't
State.
disagree with you that this could be a trap game if Tennessee doesn't have a game they do against Mississippi State. Because Mike Elko can sit there and put the film on and be like, they took Tennessee, who's a high-powered offense, into overtime and barely lost that game. They could beat anybody. That's the kind of conversation that's taking place in this locker room. I think the defensive line for Texas A&M is better, and is it Blake Shapen? That's the quarterback from Mississippi State. He was getting mopped all over the place. Destroyed. Can't take that many hits. You're going into a hostile environment. Colt or not, Texas A&M. Colt or not, they go hard on game day. I think I agree with you when it comes like Mississippi State was in the game with Tennessee because it seemed like Tennessee like lethargically went into that game thinking, oh, this is Mississippi State. Ignore the cowbells. Let's beat them by 40 points and get out of here.
And you let a bad team hang around. You muff a punt, they end up scoring off that.
Right. Yeah, and there's
2 tip picks,
everything
fake
that
punt.
could go wrong for Tennessee went wrong, and that's what kept Mississippi State in the game. But it's just enough for Elko to sit there and be like, these guys can play with anybody. And you can bring that narrative to your players. You know your offense is got a chip on their shoulder because of Auburn. So I like A&M having a dominant win over Mississippi State here.
I hope so. That's where I'm riding.
So you're both laying the points here.
Laying, yes.
At 14.5.
14.5. I know it's a big lift, but I think we can do it.
You said, is it a trap game? I don't know if it's a trap game. Like, I believe both of you. Mentally, A&M will be fully checked in. It is a huge benefit to them that game Mississippi State had went down to the wire. That's an attention getter. You're also in this really unique spot where A&M won last week, but everyone, like Elko had to chew the media out in the postgame because they were just asking negative questions. So it's not like there's this lethargic hangover type vibe around them. They struggled against Auburn. They came off scoring 41 at Notre Dame, had a bye week, and couldn't break 20 against Auburn. So I don't think it's a trap spot for A&M. I actually think it's a trap line. Like, I think FanDuel is begging someone to take State plus 14.5. The reason I'm taking State plus 14.5 is I still think in principle they're underrated as a team. Like, you remember last week, Mississippi State plus the points was one of my favorite bets of the week because I think they're undervalued. And I think they're still undervalued. So this is a game that, like, if A&M wins by 7, 10, something like that, people will look at it and say, man, we won. But I would look at that and say, you beat what the rest of the year will go on to prove is a pretty good Mississippi State team, like a pretty solid team. Not great, not any other adjectives, just pretty good team. They got Florida coming in there next week, by the way. A&M does. So in the preseason, this did look like a letdown spot. Sandwiched between Auburn and Florida. Yeah. I just think State is a good enough team that they don't need crazy stuff to happen here to hang in the game. They got an experienced quarterback that can do good enough things. They got a tailback that can do good enough things. They got better SEC bodies up front that can hang good enough. The thing that worries me, if I'm taking the points here, is I'm a huge fan of teams that show early in the season they can win several different types of games. And A&M has now won a shootout and a slugfest. So they're comfortable no matter how this game starts to take shape. I think they're going to win. I think A&M will win. I think State covers, especially with the hook. I will take the 14.5. I think it's a little too generous.
Backdoor?
So you're saying
Is it a backdoor situation?
It's a good question.
Begging you to take it, and you're taking it.
They are begging me, and I'm a friend. I'm a friend of FanDuel.
Yeah.
You guys are enemies.
Partner.
I'm a friend, yeah. You continue to ask the good questions. This is not a backdoor situation. This is a hard-fought game. It's within that margin the whole time. This is not A&M gets up big, and then it's all of a sudden 41-30 at the end of the day because of 2 late touchdowns. No. Although I would take it. It still counts as a win for me if it happens that way. But no, I think State's just going to fight. I think they're that good. I think they're that improved year 1 to year 2.
Is there a world where Texas A&M takes an early lead, and then Mississippi State realizes, oh, the only reason why we're in the game with Tennessee is because Tennessee didn't play well. The only reason why I beat ASU is because ASU didn't learn from their mistake against Texas in the playoff and went 0 at the end of the game. And that starts to creep in and be like, really, we're not.
See, I like
that.
I like that scenario more because this defense is going to beat the shit out of Mississippi State. The offense, A&M's offense, like they had over 400 yards of total offense. They just didn't they're not converting on third down. They're not getting the points when the opportunities are there to get the points. Like, to me, this is such a get back spot for that offense to where I think it's a situation you're laying out.
So we're 2 games in.
Yep. Disagreement.
Our records are all pretty close right now.
This is separation Saturday.
This is a separation week. This is spooky season.
Yeah.
And he's and by the way,
Spooktober.
Hey Taylor, he's rocking
PWTV.com.
with the dogs. We kind of seem like squares right now. We got both favorites.
That's okay.
So
You can call me whatever you want, but you have to call me a winner as well.
yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I love losers. I love losers. You know what kind
You
of
don't give
bravery?
up on 'em.
You know what kind of bravery it takes to look at Billy Napier right now and say, "Yeah, that's my guy." You know what it takes to say Mississippi State. Yeah, I'll ride with them.
Buddy,
I like
I've been
this team.
2-14.
Yeah.
I've been
He got
3-14.
murdered last week, but he's good enough.
Yeah, they lost.
I think he's gonna make.
Great.
Great. Good. Oh, dude, Michelob Ultra, Will. They've got this fun idea where you play for an Ultra. It's all about these friendly little competitions, and there's always an Ultra on the line.
We can show him right here. Let's do rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
For Ultra?
Rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
2 or 3?
Rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
All right,
Just
we'll
one. Let's just do one quick one. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Ultra's mine. That's the point that everybody's trying to make. Ultras taste better when you have bragging rights, no matter if you're playing hoops, whatever game you're playing, whether it's the first Ultra or the last Ultra, rock, paper, scissors, any friendly competition, bragging rights make it better.
So what you're telling me is Superior is worth playing for.
Superior is worth playing for.
Michelob Ultra, Superior Light Beer. Let's get back to this episode. This game, number 11, Texas Tech at Houston. Both teams undefeated. Looks like this is going to be a big deal game. To me, this is not.
Oh, wow.
This is Texas Tech is going to blow the doors. Oh, the points, by the way, if you're wondering, watching the show, wondering what the points are, Texas Tech is favored by 11.5. It's not enough. Total points of the game, 50.5. I think Texas Tech points per game are at 52 right now. That's what they're averaging.
They're rolling.
Points per game is 52. They went a couple weeks ago. We talked about Texas Tech and Utah, and they had to go. And these are two of your teams you brought up in the Big 12. Texas Tech's quarterback gets hurt, and they end up still in the fourth quarter putting up 21 points on Utah with none unanswered. Just absolutely pulled away in a big way. They spent more money, or at least top 5 of anybody else in the portal. And then you look at the record of Houston, and it's like, yeah, they're 5-0. They beat Colorado 36-20. Well, Colorado's 2-3 now, and they beat Oregon State 27-24. Do you know what Oregon State's record is?
0-5.
0-5.
And I kind of like them to get their first win this weekend, but that's for a different conversation.
You like Oregon State to get the first. So to me, this is like we have a better team. Even though the records are the same, one team is clearly better than the other, and I think it's Texas Tech.
He just hit you with some math, too.
Yeah, it seems like the side FanDuel wants us to be on. Low double-digit favorite here. On the road, Houston undefeated. A lot of disrespect, that many points being given to the home dog. Unfortunately, /fortunately, depending on which side of the worldview you live on here, I think you're right. I think they could run it up on Houston.
I'm glad to see.
I mean, let's remember, you were pointing out one side of the Utah game. Like, we were standing on the field looking at the score and saying, I thought the backup was in. How are they running it up on Utah? Well, remember, part 2 of the way they ran it up is because they held Utah to 10 points. So they suffocated Utah. I think they're going to do the same thing to Houston here. I actually think the fact that Houston's 5-0 is what's keeping this line under 2 touchdowns, which is a blessing for at least 2 of us, maybe 3. We'll see in just a second. I think that they are going to continue to plant the flag and sort of separate themselves in the Big 12 as that one team that could not only win the Big 12, but maybe you're kind of scared of if they get in the playoff.
Oh, that's the second time you brought that up. When we talked about Texas Tech, Utah, you're like, is one team going to blow the other team out to where we go, oh, there's a Big 12 team to be afraid of?
And they did, and with their backup. But think about this. So
are you afraid yet, though?
I was doing my show last night. We pulled up the On3 transfer portal team rankings, and Texas Tech was number 1. And I was going back and looking at some of the headlines, and people were saying, oh, yeah, they're number 1, but that's just because they went and bought a whole team. Like, don't take that seriously. And Joey McGuire's the head coach there. And I was talking to him in August, and he was saying, folks are going to dismiss what we did. They're going to call it just mercenary shopping. They're going to act like we went to the grocery store and just threw a bunch of stuff in, supermarket sweep style. He said, now, you're going to have to wait till the season to see. But this is the best group. It's the most cohesive group I've been around. I know it defies conventional wisdom. I know that's not how team building is historically supposed to work, but you'll see. All right, so we're seeing now. And then I think if they continue to do what they're doing, then the talent was never the question. The question was, did you go get a bunch of individuals, or did you really put a team together? Did you fundamentally build a team out of the portal? And I think early results, September answer is yes, they did. Now we're into October.
Spooktober.
Dude, I think they're really good. And I think you could absolutely make the argument they'll be the most gettable early in the season. Like, I would think they only get stronger as a team later in the season. And I don't know if I've seen any truly elite teams out there yet. Maybe some of them become elite teams. But if we're just in a year where the best is very good, and Texas Tech did what they did, absolutely they could go win games in the playoff if they make it. But we need to stop talking about that because it's only October.
It's only October. What's the movie with the mercenaries? You got Sylvester Stallone, Ivan Drago, Jason Statham.
The A-Team?
No, not the A-Team.
Are you talking about
Dispensables?
Spice World?
Expendables?
No, you're not talking about Spice
Expendables. That's what Texas Tech has built, the Expendables. A lot of mercenaries. They're all gelling together. They're accomplishing the mission.
Took us a while to get there, but we got there.
Yeah, it took us a minute. I'm going with Texas Tech. I could sit here and elaborate. You guys all hit a lot of great points. I like Texas Tech in this game. Them just beating, going up to Utah and winning that game big. Dropped a lot in the fourth quarter, which gets me a little nervous. But I like the D line. The offense puts up a lot of points. I was kind of flirting with the over for a second, but you just talked me out of it. The way you talked about
favorite in the under maybe, like 38-10 type stuff.
Right. Yeah.
Didn't we just talk about how Texas Tech is averaging 52 points a game?
Maybe they hit the over by themselves? You thinking Indiana vibes here?
I was thinking that, but then the way you talked about the suffocation and everything else and the Expendables got in my brain, I'm like, I like that analogy of the Expendables.
Right.
Give me Texas Tech minus 11.5.
Okay.
What about the points?
I'm not going to touch the points.
Won't count for the record.
Dude, where's the total special?
I'd lean going over.
I hate over or unders. Hate it.
It
It's like you watch a game
Just
and you
outside
bet
of
and
his
you're like, you get
suffocation,
mad.
outside of that, the comment about like, okay, maybe I don't take the under here. It's like I also think Houston can score points. But Texas Tech minus 11.5.
You know what Meemaw said about totals betting?
Tell us.
What did Meemaw say?
She said, it ain't under till it's over. And I never bet an under again.
It ain't under till it's over.
That's beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah. No dude's ever coming up with that. That had to be a Meemaw special.
Had to be a Meemaw.
The game.
Not
Not the game.
A game.
game.
A big
That
game.
could
But
be
a
the
massive
game.
game. A game that you will be going to. This the fall tour right here. Fall Don't Lie tour. Going down to Miami at Florida State. The line on this game, Miami is favored by 4.5 at Florida State. Florida State dogs. The total on this game is 53.5.
I'm terrified of this game.
Yeah.
Hey, so
I think if Virginia Tech loses to Florida State, I'm not as terrified anymore.
Virginia,
And I like Miami more. But something about a wounded animal
At home.
been clipped.
An extra day to think about it.
Yeah.
I played that game on Friday last week.
dude, I was on Florida State all week. All week I was on Florida State. I was sitting upstairs last night trying to put my final notes and thoughts together. I'm looking at stats and I'm kind of rewatching I went back to rewatch the Alabama-Florida State game. I was watching the Virginia-Florida State game a little bit. I was listening to your thoughts on Castellanos throwing downfield, so that's what got me going, and I kind of like watching tape on it. And I like Miami here. I'm taking Miami because in my head, it's like, all right, if Miami is going to be this program that's going to be a national title contender, then they're above everybody. They're in that tier that's above everybody else. Like, this is only 4.5 points. This isn't a very big line. So that's why I like Miami. And because it's like, all right, so we see what Alabama's doing now since they tasted their blood in week 1 against Florida State. So how does Florida State upset Alabama? And the creativity that they have in the run game, because you're right, like Castellanos, he doesn't do very well throwing the ball downfield. They're not going to be able to win this game through the air. So all eyes are going to be on stopping the run. Well, Florida State has
creativity.
Florida State has a very creative offense. Remind me the OC's name?
Gus
Gus
Malzahn.
Malzahn.
Malzahn. Very creative offense in the fact that, there'd be checks when I was playing to where if you have a wide receiver in the backfield, we call it zoo. You have all these zoo alerts because they'll motion guys in the backfield. They'll have kind of a gun wishbone look at times. They did a couple end rounds against Alabama. They're going to have to get really creative to where Alabama's seeing some of this stuff for the first time because you don't necessarily know how to prepare for how you might be attacked against Castellanos. Now that there's 4 games of tape on Florida State, that is where I like my odds with Miami here because they're going to have time to prepare and see what they can look to, what wrinkles, what window dressing, what concepts they're going to like to see. This is a big keep your eyes on your work type of game for Miami because, again, even when they hit you with some big throws, it'll be a guy or a receiver coming out of the backfield based on these shifts and they're hitting them on a wheel route down the sideline. If Castellanos happened to be an Underwood or a Diego Pavia or a Sorsby from Cincinnati, it's like if you had that threat of the arm and the run, then I would lean a little bit more on Florida State here. But I think the only way Florida State wins is through their run game. I think Miami has enough on them to prepare for this run game. And they have a very good defense. They have a very good defense. They hit the transfer portal hard. I had question marks on their secondary. They are playing very well. Their O-line, they can run the ball really well. With 4.5 points, I really like Miami in this situation. That's your boy taking 4 favorites this week. I kind of hate it. I hate myself for it. but that's just the way I'm seeing it.
The thing that I like about everything you said was like, yeah, Miami runs the ball well, but also like Carson Beck does a great job of utilizing the pass game as the run game, like where he can use the checkdowns to get himself 5-6 yards on first and second down, putting himself in third and manageables. You've really sold me on Miami because I kind of walked into this without a real choice. I mean, I wrote down here Miami, but I also was that was it's in ink, but it might as well have been in pencil.
Because you all week I'm like, I like Florida
because
State.
we always do the whole who you got here, and it always changes.
Yeah.
Would you like to sell me on Florida State?
No, I would like to.
I'm with Miami.
I would like to make the argument for how they would do it.
Okay.
So I think that it's so imperative their ground game's got to scale. It's the number 2 rushing offense in the country right now against the top 10 rushing defense. And I think even at number 8, Miami's run D is probably low because they face better competition. So it's got to scale. I've watched Malzahn in the past in the SEC. Like if he has a decided disadvantage in the box running the ball, he's really good at getting it on the perimeter quick. That's where Miami has, I think, 4 of 5 guys as new starters. They went to the portal, they kept O.J. Frederick, and then they just overhauled their secondary. You got to make those guys prove they can tackle. You got to make those guys prove they can defend the run. That's the first thing they'll find out. If that doesn't scale, Florida State's in huge trouble because of what you said. You can't trust Tommy Castellanos to throw the ball. You want a paper popper here.
I want a paper popper bad, Josh Pate.
When he throws for 240 plus yards, which sounds like a good thing, he's 1-5 in his career. So it's actually a bad thing the more he throws the ball.
It's like the Eagles.
Yeah, not great. Not great at all. Miami just asks a simple question. It's just, can you handle it? Like, are you man enough? Can you defend the run? If you can't, it's really academic, and Beck doesn't even need to do a whole lot. Even if you do ask him to do a lot, though, he can.
And
so
they got the guys on the outside.
Yes. So you start stacking just the pancakes stack up in front of you, the ways you can win. There's like one pancake over here on the FSU plate. There are 2 or 3 of them on the Miami plate. The second pancake, if you want to sell me or if I want to sell you on having one on the Florida State plate, is Miami hasn't left home. So there's a lot that you find out about an organization and a program when you take it on the road. Mm-hmm. We do have the whole wounded animal theory, home dog in play here. We've watched it happen all over the country so far this year. In the past, Miami has been victimized by in-game decision-making that's been a little suspect, and we really haven't seen that have an opportunity to crop up this year. It kind of did in the Notre Dame game, but they didn't have to pay for it. So there's a lot of intangible. I don't know how to quantify that, but that's the way it would go Florida State's direction. I'd have to see it to believe it, and consequently I will, because I'm going to go down there. First game I've been at in Tallahassee since 2016, when a guy named Deshaun Watson came in there and beat him 35-31. By my math, that final would lead Florida State to cover, but I don't think Florida State's going to score 31 on Miami. So I'm going to take Miami to win and cover as well.
And Miami coming off a bye week too.
They are.
It's like you're sitting back and you have, you're probably working on some of these run game fits and some of these different looks and motions that Florida State gives you to be creative in the run game. And then you get to kind of sit back and look at whatever extra wrinkles to confirm your notes against Virginia. Then Virginia ends up beating them, and then you're kind of dialing, okay, they might have showed these couple other looks to where you just implement them even more to confirm it in practice. Because this is big, like be very good and disciplined with your eyes if you're on Miami's defense. And then I think to myself, it's like the whole overreaction on week 1 thing. Nobody had Florida State being like a dominant ACC team coming off the season that they had last year. I'm not saying that they're not going to be very good. They very much are trending that way, even if they drop this game here. But it's like there's such an overreaction. Oh, Florida State for real, knocking off. A lot of people had Alabama as the national champions, and they knocked them off in a bad weather game and everything else. Then they go off, take care of business against these little Ducks. Now that they've gotten humbled or lost to Virginia, it's like, okay, who is Florida State? And I just think that there's enough now. There's enough of a sample size to study and kind of dial in on the run game that they have, because they do have a very good run game.
You can only have so many formations, so many shifts,
so many end arounds. Like they're going to need some of those to
come
work.
Out of your pocket, and it's like you've had 4 games to show us.
Like, hey, now we've stopped the run. Now we're gonna have to win through the air. And the paper popper that you gave, it's like
we don't want him to win through the air. Because he doesn't win through the air.
Yeah. 1-5, throwing for 240 plus.
And I'd like to see a team too, just not be a clear number 1, but clear just in this is a national championship.
Yeah, because as we get deeper in October, it's like we'll realize who's who in the zoo, and you'd like to have someone from each conference.
The standard.
That you're like,
North
I
Star.
can't wait to watch them against other conferences.
Ohio State and Oregon. You got Miami,
Texas Tech. if they do what they're supposed to do in Houston.
People will question Texas Tech though until it gets closer to.
I loved you saying like they should be their worst in September because of the cohesiveness.
Yep.
And the fact that they've been amazing in September proves to me like Texas Tech could be nasty boys.
The reason I think we're onto something too is we just keep getting closer as we talk about this game.
You can feel it a little more. It's becoming more intimate. You forget about the cameras and the people watching.
Yeah, maybe we
JJ
really are
from Flyhouse sitting in the corner,
Yeah.
wondering if he's having a good time. True classic game of the week. Now, I don't think any of us should speak first about this game after it's been given out to the public. I think G should have a moment if he'd like to. What's
Game
going
of the
on,
week?
guys? We're going to talk to you about real quick about the True Classic game of the week taking place right now. You can find True Classic on Amazon and Costco, Sam's Club, Target, nationwide, or you can go online at trueclassic.com/bussin. Look good, feel good, play good. But look at these pants, dude. And also, these Chuck Tees I'm kind of obsessed with right now. These pants right here. Look at this.
Show them the
Are you
mobility.
kidding me?
Waist.
Are you kidding me? Look at this.
Bottoms
Them
don't come
knees
up.
was 36.
Great flexibility.
36. That's a
36,
squeeze.
36.
You can do any sort of activity you possibly want in these things. True Classic. And also the Pima shirts as well. They have a nice little curve to it. Shoulders, arms, chest, the whole thing.
These right here.
Those are them right there?
Delaney too. Look
rocking
at
that?
it.
Oh, I wonder why
Damn,
looks so
Delaney.
damn good.
It looks good.
You look like a blocking tight end, bro. You look good.
Let's get back to this episode.
That's not me.
But the game of the week. Every Saturday's got game, but only one fits just right. This is the True Classic game of the week. True Classic pants on, Bussin With The Boys shirt here. Vanderbilt, number 16 Vanderbilt at number 10 Alabama. Clark Lee versus Kalen DeBoer. Last year, Vandy won 40-35 when Bama was number 1. Alabama's favored, 10.5. Total points in that game is 55.5. Garrett?
Yeah, it's a big week. You know, last year the same thing happened. You take down the Bulldogs, you get a little high, they put you at number 1. You think you're gonna walk into Nashville and do what you always do to Vandy, and it doesn't happen. That sucks. This team this year is a lot different than last year. Ty said it himself. Vandy is also different. They're better. So you have to stay focused. It's just another game. Do not worry about what happened last year. Take care of business. And I have a quote.
Oh yeah, let's get it.
Never take your own revenge, but leave room for the wrath of God. And God is in crimson this weekend.
He hit it biblically.
Yeah.
That's Old Testament.
Yeah.
That's Old Testament.
Yeah. That's Job stuff.
Shit went hard too. You hear whispers in the crowd right now. By the way, this is filmed in front of a live audience.
All right.
I like everything he said.
Oh.
Kalen DeBoer is 0-1 versus quarterbacks that talk shit about him in the offseason.
Oh, trend forming.
There's a trend forming. And Diego Pavia, as big of a wrestler brain as he is, puts fucking points on the board. Had 6 touchdowns, counted for 6 of them last week. When it was kind of like close against Utah State. Vanderbilt's selling out. There's traffic in Nashville on Saturdays now. Like Vanderbilt's different. I'm gonna take Vandy to cover because I promised Cade I would trust them until I can't. And a piece of me hopes I get this wrong this week because Cade sat in my pool in the summertime and he's like, we win the national champ, we win the SEC in the national championship. Will you take me, the O-line, and Diego to Vegas and play with us and do all these things? And I'm thinking to myself, I looked him in the eyes. I said, I've been in locker rooms. I've
Taylor,
seen championship teams.
will you take us to the tunnel of chaos?
Yeah, will you take us to tunnel of chaos, essentially? And I told him, I was like, buddy, you guys just don't have the team.
Yeah, we'll go to Tupelo or something. Jeez.
You don't have the team, and I'm not trying to be disrespectful to you, but I said to his face, like, you guys are not a national championship caliber team. And they look fucking good. If they win this game, I'm going to start shitting myself a little bit. I don't want to pay for that. But I'll take Vandy to cover. And if Vandy wins this game, I'm not safe. That's all I have to say about that.
You might have to call me.
Call-
Check on me.
Yeah. And listen, anybody who needs to be checked on after this week, just wait till November 1st. Please don't fuck up my Spooktober. Like, I need this. All right? It's a big year for me.
We'll think about it.
November 1, it's you guys. You guys do what you want.
I just want to draw the attention back over here because you and I just had a moment. and you had a look in your eye like you're about to do something really irresponsible. You had an October 1st, it's a new day that I haven't seen in your eyes since last week when you had a new haircut type look in your eye. And I just want to know what's going on up here, not in here. Don't pick with that. I want to know what's going on up there.
I think about this game, I think you can throw who's doing well in this situation, who's doing well in that situation. Vanderbilt's 5-0. I think this game, this is personal for Alabama. I think last year what happened, they were in a spot where you come off a win against Georgia and you drop a game against Vandy. Vandy celebrates. This wasn't a humble win. This was a, what did Pavia say after the game? When he's like in the, it was, well, we're fucking turned. And they've had to sit back and watch this team take victory lap after victory lap after victory lap over ultimately one game. But Vandy did slap him in the face. The feeling for Alabama after the game was embarrassment. Vanderbilt embarrassed you. They slapped you in your face, and not only slapped you in the face, they also spit on your shoes. And they've been doing it throughout the offseason. They've had to sit back and watch any given Saturday and watch Diego Pavia talk shit. And they've done nothing but hear about this. I think last week against Georgia, that was a game to where they've clearly bounced back from Florida State. And that is a massive hats off to that staff, to that team, because when a moment like that happens, and it's like the impossible job for a coaching staff, like why they were never going to win at a place like Alabama coming after Nick Saban. Everyone is as loud as possible, talking about messages and tweets of guys DMing, getting DoorDash at night. Maybe they're there with women, whatever it is. When shit like that happens, it can do one of two things to a team. The noise either continues to happen inside the building and nobody really addresses anything, or you lock the doors and you get tighter. And this team clearly has gotten tighter. You watch last week, any negative play or turn of event that happened, the staff is out there on the field waving the players to come back. You see coordinators at times on the double move touchdown coordinator. That's on me. Don't even fucking worry about that, because they're locked in for 60 minutes. DeBoer said it even at halftime. We didn't come here to play 30 minutes. We came here to play 60 minutes. Like, this team is tight, and they're motivated, and they're hungry, and they needed the Georgia game. They needed it. They want this game. There is no trap game. There's no nothing. They fucking want this team. They want them at home, and they want to beat their ass. And Ty Simpson, ball high and tight as he's wheeling and dealing.
Great mechanics.
I like Bama here. This game is weirdly personal for Bama, and I've weirdly made it personal for myself too. Like, I'm rooting for the Crimson Tide to beat their ass, because it's like I see the product that they had against Georgia and see the way that they've galvanized with the staff, the players, everybody. And I've loved watching it. I've loved watching it, and I'm fired up for them to play Vandy.
Buddy, this is a model special for me, because the model loves Vandy plus the points is one of its favorite bets of the week. So I don't argue with the model. I learned my lesson a million times over already doing that. So I'm putting it out there right now. I'm taking Vandy plus the points, Vandy plus 10.5. I just want to share anecdotally what you just said. Last week, I'm on the field for that game at Georgia, and I watched Bama do what they did. I'm around them a fair amount. So vibe, totally different. From the time they walked in the building, everyone saw the game. What I want to make sure people know is I did exactly what we did with Michigan. You walk off the field, you head in the locker room, you're around the players, you're where cameras can't go. They're talking about Vanderbilt. They're talking about Vanderbilt.
That juices me up, because part of me is like, they didn't celebrate that win for a second. They fucking want this team coming in.
That's going into Georgia, winning at Georgia, and people are happy, but it's 15, 20 minutes, Vanderbilt.
I think Vandy's in a dangerous spot. I think they're 5-0 right now. They're
the model's taking Vandy to cover.
And so you're taking what happened to your relationship with the model when Nebraska was playing Michigan?
I divorced myself after that.
Okay.
I can't do that. So I'm legally bound to the model. The model's taking Vandy. The model just thinks Vandy's a good team. So like Bama could be wired the right way.
Vandy is a good team.
Yeah, Bama could be wired the right way here and win by 8. Like that could happen. It's not an indictment if they only win but don't cover, which I guess from the model's perspective, it's hoping happens. But dude, it wouldn't surprise me if Bama, because what happened last year is Vandy's lethal on third down. Vandy 42-18 time of possession edge in this game last year. Bama lost the turnover battle. All right, well, Bama just owned time of possession against Georgia. Bama was razor sharp on third down, like historically sharp. Georgia hasn't given up that many third down conversions in 30 years, and Bama just did that. Bama hasn't turned the ball over yet this year. So a lot of what worked for Vandy last year, just as a team talent profile, Bama has flipped. We don't question Bama at home. We question them on the road, and even they answered that bell last week. So there's a lot of indicators that make me want to go Bama. If it was just me picking Hart, that's my national champion. I got to roll with him. But I went with the model plus the points. I have no clue how it's going to go.
I know Vandy's like always playing for a minute from start to finish. Like the clock is at like the play clock's at like 2.
We saw Castellanos give that defense fits. We have not seen them face a quarterback with that kind of unique ability since week 1.
Yeah.
So this is, as much as last week was just a test of that overall team's mentality, and can you nut up on the road? One false start, I think, the whole game. Like, they answered all those questions. All right, now it's Kane Womack, defensive coordinator. He's got to answer the bell. They lost edge contain like 5 times against Georgia last week, but they didn't have to pay for it in the form of a loss. If that happens again this week, they may have to pay for it in the form of a loss, because Vandy, truth be told, probably more capable of making you pay for it in terms of points, even than Georgia was.
This is going to be an exciting game.
I can't wait to watch it. I can't wait to watch it.
Don't have to wait till nighttime either. 2:30 kick.
Yeah. I think, too, it's like Vandy being 5-0. Like, clearly the high last year is the win against Bama.
But they lost to Georgia. Was it Georgia State?
Yeah.
Like week 2?
In Atlanta.
So there was kind of like caught them off guard. But now, like Vandy's a whole lot better.
The way they talk and feel, too, like, I love the confidence. But there's a part of me, too, that's like, they've also never really been in this world of being, quote unquote, the best.
Vandy's never
You're 5-0.
been,
Like, are you feeling as locked in as this team who enjoyed the win for 15 minutes and they're already saying, like, hey, we got Vandy next week?
you've got.
Or are you enjoying a few drinks on the weekend? I don't know. I don't know what kind of team Vandy is.
When's the last time we just watched Vanderbilt have true game of the week spotlight on them against one of the big boys?
Yeah.
Because this game last year, like, you don't have to denigrate Vandy or devalue the win to admit Bama's in year 1 under a new coach. They just beat Georgia. It's a total biggest letdown spot of the entire season. I mean, I remember the talk. They were 22-point favorites. They were talking about who they could rest. I'm not talking about the team. I'm saying, like, the fan base was almost talking about, all right, what didn't work against Georgia? What do we need to work on against Vandy? They talked about them like a G5 team.
Yeah.
They just had no idea what Vandy was. All right, so all that's erased now. That's the Etch-a-Sketch vibe. All that's erased. You have a really good team at home's full attention. So if you pull it off this year, it's no smoke and mirrors. It's no fluke. It's just you were good enough to hang with them. I think Vandy's good enough to hang with them. So, like, all the stuff we're talking about doesn't matter once the ball's kicked off. I think once the ball's kicked off, Vandy's just good enough to hang with Alabama. But everything you said about Bama is true.
If Vandy wins this game, what does that mean for Clark Lee in your mind?
It means there's no ceiling, because they already shattered everyone's ceiling of belief about what they're capable of anyway. And then if they go into the second year of the Diego Pavia era and they go beat Bama on the road, when you didn't sneak up on them. Like, it's one thing, a 10-year-old boy could sneak up on you and hit you in the back of the head with a baseball bat. You're defenseless. You didn't know it was coming.
He ain't getting me.
But then you turn around. Does he get you again? Does he get you a second time?
And it's in front of Hey, Taylor, and it's in front of everybody to where you can't, like, swing on the kid, and he's just been doing victory lap after victory lap, talking
I'll catch that kid in
shit.
the alley. I'll at least get his dad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because this is a spot, too. Bama's happy that they're 5-0. They want all the success Vandy's had in the world, because it's like there's I'm assuming, which you're helping confirm, it's like I'm assuming this mentality of I bet they didn't enjoy that Georgia game for very long, because this is a game they want. Like, they needed that Georgia game. This is one that they've circled like 8 times, bro.
You should flip it. Like, they wanted Georgia, but they knew they've had so much success in the past with Georgia. They need this one versus Vandy.
No, this is like a personal.
You don't get this one versus Vandy, it's like, what's happened? We know what Alabama's kryptonite is now, and that's a mobile
Well, if they
quarterback,
say they have a
dual-threat
close loss against Vandy, I think they're both very good football teams. And Vandy, again, there's no ceiling. Like, this team is for real. And I'll be there. Mizzou comes to Vandy, LSU, it doesn't matter. I'll be wearing that V proudly on my shirt.
I just want to remind everyone, So the Georgia game had its baked-in meaning for Bama. The Vandy game has its baked-in meaning. Do you know what Missouri's doing this weekend?
What are they doing?
Sitting at home, resting, waiting for Alabama to come to them next week.
Hey, Mizzou's sneaky now.
Don't tell them that. They know.
Yeah.
Tell Alabama. I'm already worried about that game for them.
Alabama?
Yeah.
Too emotional, too personal.
Coming off two really emotional games.
Yeah.
Tennessee game on deck, big rivalry game for Bama, and you go to Missouri off a bye. We're ahead of ourselves, but still.
And you might be giving a, you know, Bama's tuned in right now. Like maybe like, oh yeah, we do need to be ready to go for next week.
You guys didn't absolve all your road issues just because you went and beat Georgia. It could creep right back in there.
Yeah.
We may need to do a full Eli Drinkwitz XXX anonymous DM to you for Kalen DeBoer. We may need to go down that road next week.
I don't know though. Coach Drink, he's a friend of For the Dads. He sent me a long DM about it For the Dads. So I don't know if I can. I don't know if I can go that way. See, I don't have the same relationship with Coach Franklin as I do with Coach Drink. So
Gotcha.
Maybe a part of me would like to take Mizzou next week. We'll see what the line is. We'll see where we're at.
Do you want to bet it ahead of time?
Do we know what it is?
I have no idea.
We'll have to hit up FanDuel.
I mean, they probably have it. It's not on there yet.
Yeah, I don't think it's on there
on there
yet.
yet. That was
This game's got to
That was
happen.
dumb of me.
This game with Vandy, Alabama's got to happen.
Going back to what Josh was saying, like how Vandy hasn't had this spotlight. When was the last time game day went to a Vandy game?
I think JP was saying earlier this week the last time they started 5-0 was what, 2008? They ended up 7-5. Obviously,
What happened in
that has
2008?
What happened?
Massive real estate crash.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So-
yeah.
Election year.
Vanderbilt.
Yeah.
True.
A lot of
Right,
term.
Vanderbilt keeps winning. Our economy could be fucked. Something to think about.
Also for the Mizzou Alabama game, I guess the line is out. It's Alabama -6.5 right now.
There's 6.5 again.
6.5.
There's that
I
6.5.
fucking hate
I
6.5
love
too.
6.5.
It's just
7.5.
That's
I
what
hate.
this dude's name is. That is Mr. 6.5
That is
back
Mr.
there.
6.5. It's a good one back there. You guys want to talk dog of the week or weekly
Oh
parlay?
yeah. I was ready to say, hey, great show today because I'm juiced about these games.
Dog of the week. I got a bitch made dog of the week. I'm taking Iowa State money line against Cincinnati. The line's 1.5. It's
I know it
essentially
is,
a pick 'em.
yeah.
But I love Rocco Becht. I love Matt Campbell. I think Cincinnati's fantastic. But
This is honestly the line has it. Like this is kind of a pick 'em. Like this is an exciting game.
yeah.
Cincinnati can really put themselves like in the conversation for a Big 12 contender if you take down Iowa State, who's handled their business thus far.
Down 2 corners now.
Cincinnati.
No, Iowa State. Down 2 corners for the year.
Well, their quarterback can't really throw it.
Yeah. Yeah.
He can run.
Sorsby? Sorsby can throw the ball.
He's got lucky.
He's just no.
Bro, Sorsby can throw the rock, man. I'm telling
That's
you.
the PFF luck stat says Sorsby #1 in the country throwing. Just pure luck.
Yeah, it's all luck.
Yeah, pure luck.
That guy needs to go to Vegas. He needs to play baccarat.
He's been slinging the rock.
Yeah.
Obviously, he didn't against Nebraska. But honestly, watching
That's
him
the
like
game I
he's-
saw.
I know.
That's the game I watched.
I know.
Don't need to watch any others. Go
I'm
ahead.
gonna
Joe.
take-
When the
uh,
game's that close with your Huskers where you think, all right, this shouldn't have been as close as it was, it's made me keep an eye on Cincinnati. And that's where it's like, okay, seems to be like a pretty good football
Who has
team.
Cincinnati played?
Nebraska.
No, yeah, I watched that game.
Kansas last week.
Mm-hmm. Nah. He says no.
Yeah, muffins.
Luck.
Give me Iowa State.
Luck. Just luck.
Rocco Becht, way better quarterback.
Listen, I'm going Fran Brown here. Got their ass whipped against Duke. I'm sure he had all those boys sitting in a sauna as a team together for all of 60 minutes. Give me Syracuse plus 17.5. At SMU. That's the only scary part is they're going to have to travel. But,
And
17.5
a lot
points.
of oil money at SMU.
I would like to ask why Maryland is getting 6.5 at home against a Washington team traveling cross country.
I saw that you had that pick in there. I was bummed I didn't get to jump on it, but I do like that pick.
Like,
Coast to coast.
Washington was terrible on the road last year. They really haven't had to go on the road coast to coast this year yet. There's a noted struggle amongst Big Ten teams in general doing that cross country stuff, except for Oregon. I'm going to take Maryland plus 6.5. They could win the game outright. And I'm not like low on Washington. I just think it's a really weird spot. Maryland's playing halfway decent football too. Got a pretty good quarterback. I love getting any points with them in this game.
The part of me almost took Cal dogs at home against Duke, just
Yeah.
because Duke's got to travel across the country after winning, after beating the
Boston College.
beating the hell out of was it Boston College or Syracuse?
Well, got to win
last week?
28-24 over BC last week.
And then I saw Cal put up a 0 burger against somebody.
San Diego State
So
the
I'm
week
like,
before.
are they going to be able to just score?
They
or
rectified
win
it
this
all, though.
game?
It's model left Cal last week.
Burger is a crazy
Model loved
state.
Cal.
Yeah, didn't take it.
How does the model feel about Cal this week? Do you know?
Model's indifferent on Cal this week. So it
Probably
said,
in the same spot. It's like
yeah, it
they
said
put up
just
0.
kind of you do you on Cal.
yeah,
Yeah, we got better value on the board.
Bet responsibly,
Right.
with Cal.
Which brings us to our parlay.
Weekly parlay. Let's take a quick break to let you know about Bussin With The Boys. If you don't already know, the boys have a 50% profit boost token every college football Saturday. That's 50% boost on any college football Saturday bet. Just open up the FanDuel Sportsbook app this Saturday and look out for the Bussin With The Boys PBT.
Nebraska,
Illinois minus 9.5 versus Purdue. It's
Nebraska
Purdue.
minus 11.5.
It's Purdue.
It is Purdue.
Bielema.
Yeah.
But a massive get back win against USC.
Massive.
Storm the field.
Storm the field.
We were there.
At Purdue, that's a little sleeper.
Is that USC showing their true colors, or is that the travel?
Maybe both.
Yeah, I think it makes
Column A,
them both.
column
too.
Maybe they're just not ready for big time yet.
Yeah.
Shame. I think Wake Forest is. That's a lie. They're not. But they're going to Virginia Tech, and they're getting 6.5. And we
Yeah.
all know what the most dangerous number in betting in the modern era is. In this society, it is 6.5. So I believe in him. Therefore, I'm not laying the points. I am taking the points with Wake, who got absolutely jobbed out of a win last week against Georgia Tech. I'm told ACC officials will be on this one again. But you want to talk about get back. It's get back for Wake. It's get back for ACC officiating. I need him to get all the breaks. I love Wake plus 6.5.
And it's like what, since the firing, VTech is 2-0?
Luck.
Right.
Yeah,
This is where it starts to balance out.
Yep.
They had their 2 wins. Wake Forest is in a get back spot.
Yeah,
here.
I think so.
Yeah, obviously I'm taking the Huskers.
So can we talk about your pick for a second?
Mine?
Bet the Bus, Slips and Picks, this show last year. Anytime Huskers got into a bad spot, I tend to see Huskers more on Will Compton's card. So by you picking Nebraska minus 11.5 makes me more nervous about this game than if you didn't pick them.
Yeah, what I'm hearing is you're talking about the past. This is a different ball.
I'm talking about history
It's a
and
different
how
team.
it tends
yeah.
to repeat itself. I get worried with my boy when he sees Michigan State, don't right quarterback. Not great.
My fault. This should be Nebraska minus 16.5.
Oh,
Let's
alt.
move the line.
Alt.
Let's
These
make
are
it
all,
bigger.
These are all my points. These are all my points. Go ahead, come on in.
Yeah.
Clay Matthews, friend of the show.
Studio audience.
Yeah, I'm with you on that though. I will be betting Nebraska minus 11.5. I just get nervous when I see you bring it on the show because anytime you bring Nebraska on the show,
I know, but like I'm sitting here looking at all these other games because we've talked about all the really good ones, and then you're looking at dogs and everything else, and there just wasn't like Nebraska to me. It's like, okay, I know this game. I feel very comfortable picking this game. Like there wasn't any that were like jumping out at me that I needed to get on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can't live in the rear view. You got to live in the windshield.
Yeah, and what again, you watch the
that's
press.
the issue though. That's the problem. That's what I'm talking about. The rear view. I look back and I see that's the same thing in my windshield.
Carnage.
Yeah,
Oh, no.
There's a different belief right now.
you're bald because of your beliefs.
I don't
have no
care.
hair.
I don't care if the studio audience didn't love it. It's one of the better lines of the year.
Yeah, you have no hair because of
You
your
were
beliefs.
bald because I'm bald for my beliefs. You were bald because of your beliefs.
Yeah, and that's what makes me nervous.
Understood.
Because we're friends, I will be betting Nebraska minus 16.5 now. I'm willing to lose money for you. Great show.
Great show.
Great show. Appreciate you guys. Remember, subscribe, unsubscribe, resubscribe, comment. Thank you. Thank you so much. Big hugs, 10 kisses.
Happy Spooktober.
Happy Spooktober.